the first K, and then it starts going, and so
cool.
Yeah,
because I can do a sprint on a hill.
Yep.
Yeah. And you just gave away your entire strategy to our listening audience.
It's on.
It's all in the legs.
Maybe I won't make that part of the show. Maybe the only people who get that are our live listeners. They only get to listen to that. The rest I'll just edit out because, oh my God. I'll get to the computer problems here in a minute, but we're now playing sound effects over here on camera 2. You know what? I even forgot to do the sponsor mentions because I was so stressed about all the about all the fucking computer stuff that went through here. So, hey, before we begin, let's get to the thank yous along with some welcomes. Thank you to our great friends at Gooder Sunglasses, you guys, the home for the funnest, finest, and fiscaliest. Yeah, I made that one up. Sunglasses available, all polarized, all non-slip, all style, and all under or at $35, people. You can toss a pair off like a pro if you're into that sort of thing. Me, however, I covet mine like they were made out of gold. I love them too much to do that otherwise, and you will too. Get to Gooder.com today and peruse the fun. Grab about 4 pair while you're at it. Also, big thanks and welcome aboard to Wahoo Fitness. That's right, you guys. I don't have the applause anymore. I don't think I have the applause anymore. No, my computer's crashed, so everything's just gone to shit. That's right. Who would have thought that a company that created a silly little ANT Plus or Ant Plus key back in 2009 would end up with the trainer, tech, and innovation powerhouse that is Wahoo Fitness today. Speaking of today, be sure to check out the new aerodynamic Element Bolt GPS computer, the intuitive on-device smart navigation 64-color display, and targeted training features will help you stay on course and defy the competition. You got to do me a favor, though. If you buy, you got to take a second and go to Packfiller.com first, click on the Wahoo link, and buy away. Yes, we get paid a little bit amount every time you do. And finally, Ambassador Cycling, people. Sam isn't here yet. Wink, wink. Guess what's going to happen tonight. But you all know how important proper bike fit is, right? You got aches, you got numbness. Well, guess what? You need proper fit. It doesn't have to be your new purchase. It can be the bike you have ridden for decades. My wife and I are even going to go get a tandem fit from Sam. Trust me, it's going to change your cycling life. Get over to ambassadorcycling.com and get in touch with Sam. So let's do this. Now is where I hit the theme. Race Week people, button number 6. I want to see if it sounds any different, being that it's on a computer made in the last decade. No, pretty much sounds... Well, the bass kicks in here in a minute, though, I think. No, it still sounds the same. I just, my old MacBook Pro from, I think at least 18 years ago, might have finally shit the bed. It's, what the funny thing is, and I think it's just the power cord. But they don't make that power cord anymore. So Jackson, you said it's like eBay, and I'm like, oh, well, yeah. Somebody will laugh at me and go like, really, you want this?
Yeah.
All right.
There's a market.
Yeah. Hey, we tried to trick you guys. If you're listening live, that means you are smart, super smart. We switched to Tuesdays for our show to accommodate for life schedules and the fact that finally all of us live here. Yay! Hey! Yeah. Speaking of that, let's get to the panel. I'm going to pot this down just a little bit because I got my new sound effects trigger machine. There we go. That's a little better. Now I don't have to screech into the microphones, and I don't have the you boys. I got to find that again. So I got to start all over. Yeah. Let's meet the panel. He is officially now the best-tempered person in the face of darkness that I have ever met. Mr. Paul Main.
You haven't seen me at home.
Oh, Jesus. We're going to get to that one here shortly, you guys. Second of all, he is now officially... Notice I'm starting everyone with he is now. He is now officially local, Mr. Jackson Bolger. How are you now?
Doing well. Happy to be local.
First day at his new job today, too.
It was.
Oh, wow. Right on.
Big day, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Working man.
Yep.
He is now, even though he's not here... He will be here. The nicest guy that has ever made me rage cry, Mr. Bikefit Sam Winkles, will be here. That was last Thursday. I'm going to get to that, too, when Sam gets here. But he's just like, the dude waited for me at the top of the hill. just to fuck with me, just because he knew that it's like, I don't want you to kick back and relax, so I'm gonna fucking make you cry. And so he's like, come on, let's go. And,
That's a good training partner.
Fuck, it hurts so much, man. It hurts so much. And me, I am now the member of the Packfiller that just might think he knows more than he actually knows. I'm Pat Bulger. Which means here I thought I knew all about bike mechanics and stuff like that. And then Paul and Sam have been taking my bike from me over the last couple of weeks, just going like, no, dude, we got this. you don't want your bike, man. We got this. Trust me, And then I bring it back to him, and Paul's like, your bottom bracket's on backwards. Or, hey, there was a ton of goop in the bottom of your fucking bike. Or, hey, man, that's not how that's threaded. Or I'm like, shit. I feel like an idiot. So let's start off with something completely non-cycling related about what we talked about at the initiation of the show. Paul, how are you doing? Do you want to give the background to this in terms of...
Yeah, I'll try and keep it short.
Okay.
I have this 80-year-old sycamore tree that's in front of my house that provides great shade in the winter. The guy who I'd known prune it, all his workers and stuff, actually personally came up to me and said it was a privilege to work on this tree.
Privilege to work on a tree.
Yeah, they just said it was the most unique. I'm pretty puffed. I'm proud of this sycamore tree. And the best part about it, sycamores don't lose their leaves till about mid-November when everybody else is done and raked up. And I live, as you guys know, on top of the hill. And they blow down to my neighbor's yard. And there's like about 10 leaves. I'm all done. They're like, and I'm going for a bike ride in November or something, and these people are scraping up my leaves, scowling at me.
Hey.
So they're probably happy for the event that happened. So.
Big Gus came along. And
Big Gus. Yeah. Well, it was early in October. We had an early snowfall, and the weight of the snow on the branches snapped off, knocked out the power. Everybody in the neighborhood except my wife and I and a couple other people.
This story is not going the way I thought it was going to go.
I'm thinking with this event that happened on Sunday, and you folks were with me at the time.
We were. It's Big Group Ride. Yeah.
We're rolling up. We call the fish ladder here in Spokane. It goes right past my house. And
I do want to interject that the fish ladder never used to go by your house. But for some reason now it's just become this, what's the easiest way up the hill to get home? Sam, just push on the door, man. There he is, everybody.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
But the fish ladder used to just go a different way. But since we've all been riding with you, it's like we'll just ride by Paul's house on the way home.
And that's, for the last 20 years, I've been watching people come by the fish ladder, even if I'm not right. Yeah, it's like
people you don't even know.
Yeah, Don Cardon used to run right past. That was his.
Wow.
Anyway,
hi Sam.
Hey,
I'm telling my woes of Sunday.
Yeah, we're still in the intro to the show, so you're on time.
Yeah.
Perfect. You need a beer though.
Oh yeah, I do.
So there's a big crowd of people in the streets, and I noticed there isn't much of a tree left, and I parked my car underneath this tree, my pride and joy, and it was squished.
Don't drink it athletic.
But I wanted to try it.
Do you want to try it, really? Okay. You can. I mean, I just said don't drink an athletic on a show sponsored by Athletic, didn't I? There are cold glasses in the freezer next to it if you want to, and there are real beers there too.
Well,
God! I just insulted Athletic twice in one show.
That's my warm-up beer.
Okay. There you go. Well, anyway.
So now that the wind's out of the sails, I'm just sitting here flopping.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. The story's lost us.
No, it's not. No.
So anyway,
I support Athletic Brewing.
Yes, there you go. That can opening sound was thanks of. Anyway,
pulling up.
Yeah, we pulled up. Trees like totally topped off, and some people had calculated nearly 10,000 pounds of a massive limb is on top of my car, and leaning against my house, and so. Anyway, So I spent like a good 2 hours talking to insurance and trying to get things figured out. So the car's still
under the tree.
Yeah, still
Yeah.
under the tree. We were able, with Dismount Dave and I, kind of opened up some pathways so the mailman could get into delivering mail.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, it went across. It ruined our railing, but the house has been untouched. So that's the positive thing, and nobody got hurt. But my car is totally messed.
When somebody says nobody got hurt, that is such a catchphrase for somebody who's just like, fuck! My fucking thing got broke! God!
Yeah.
No! Come on! Oh, but nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bullshit thing to
Well,
say,
if
man.
you s-
Everybody's just pissed about their own personal...
People, again, walk by that house quite a bit. And if they were around when that thing came down, they would have been like a bug on a windshield. That thing was
I bet.
massive. So
Yeah.
And that's dense.
It is
Yeah.
heavily water. You
It's
can
huge.
take a hatchet into it and water comes out if you bury a blade.
Really?
Yeah, they are. That's
Wow.
what makes them so heavy.
Holy shit. All I know is I know how important that car is. I didn't want to say past tense yet. And then I was so impressed to see that you actually said, well, it didn't land on my bike, so everything's fine. I mean, I guess,
It's a way to take
we
it.
have priorities in life. We have priorities
I'm
in
going
life.
to interject this. Well, we went for a ride on that Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm going back, and everybody, of course, all the neighbors have to talk about it. Yeah, it was around 10:25. No, Joe, I think it was 10:27. I fed the dog. You know, that the neighbor thing. Yeah. So, and I'm thinking clockwise. We got there about, like, my house about 11:15. So I have 45 minutes away. So I started clocking back. And then I started thinking, oh, that was about the time the two guys on aero bikes were barely staying on the road because we had these massive gusts. And so at that point in time where two of my riding buddies were almost splattered on the road because of these massive gusts, my tree is in the process of smashing my car.
And not to mention, I mean, Sam's brother's a little guy, and he wasn't on an aero bike, but he probably almost just went, up to see Annie M in this palace in the sky.
He has, like, aren't those 5-centimeter rims?
Yeah, they're 60s.
60s. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, they're not so good in
So, okay. But, it's, everybody, during that entire time of the beer shifting and things like that, Sam Waples came in. I introduced you at the top of the show, but I said you're not here. But you were, and I gave you the title of the nicest guy that's ever made me rage cry. It was seriously, honestly, I was on your wheel, and we're going to talk about the weekend past, but I was on your wheel, actually just like a toddler when something important has been taken away. Like, Jackson, when you lost that balloon when you were really little, and you were just like, you made an emotional decision at that moment never to have another balloon in your life. And I was like, I'm on Sam's wheel just going, fuck, I hate this guy. Oh, it's my turn?
I'm okay. I can do this.
It's just, oh, fuck. It hurt so bad. Everything hurt. But I kept going. And I don't know why.
Because it's bike riding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. How's everybody? Okay. Paul, you're actually going to get to race your bike this week. I just wanted to bring to attention
nice.
that because I know that you've been, Jackson, we've had our little thing and the Belgian wobbles. Sam, you had your insanity across the state of Washington. Paul's been just like sitting here waiting in the wings just for this very moment and then things like that. So are you ready, man?
Yeah, the bad luck must be behind me now.
That's true. Knock on wood right fucking
You
now.
got it all out in one.
No, I'll
That's
tell you
right.
what.
It
I'm
didn't hurt
knocking
my
for it.
bike. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Jackson, you're not only local, but finished your first day of the job. For, reflections on what it's like to be a Spokenite as opposed to a Portlandian.
Yeah, it's
That was professional.
so far it feels easier. Being here, not having to worry about the weird things that Portland brings along. There are a lot of weird things if you were willing to sit down and talk for a couple hours.
Been there.
Yeah, well, you just
Not
wait till you live there.
Yeah.
It's a weird place. But yeah, it's good. Working in Spokane now, so kind of bedding in. We move into our apartment in 26 days, 28 days, 27 days, something like that. So
Cool.
Yeah. fully getting in. It feels
totally
good.
in that mode where they're sleeping in the basement of the girlfriend's house. Can you believe that? Right?
It's better than here, this basement.
Yeah, there's no room in this basement. Yeah, exactly. But I know that they made that very smart decision to do it because, and I know why. It's because your entire social dynamic is at that house, and our house is boring as fuck after 8:00 at night. Our house is boring.
Well, and we also got a little kitty, and I don't know how
That's true.
Bender feels about
yeah.
cats. So
Well, bring him on over. Let's see.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm here.
wait till he
Someone
gets
see it.
smacked in the face with a cat
Yeah,
paw.
exactly. Oh, Bender's not an alpha. He'd get his ass kicked. Sam, you're not racing this weekend.
Nope.
Why the hell not?
Yeah, anniversary. That's a.
Still,
fair.
why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, honey, it's only for a few hours.
I learned. You see, so I
Yeah.
learned that lesson early on. I think it was like our 3rd anniversary or something like that. And we were here because normally we're gone doing stuff. We were here, and a couple of my friends said, "Hey, we're gonna go do a quick lap at Beacon. You want to join?" Mackenzie wasn't off work yet, so she was like, "You should go do it." You know, it's like, okay, like I'm getting approval to do this.
Yeah, that was the test, and you failed.
Crashed harder than I've ever crashed.
No.
Lost my keys at the top of the mountain. Got stranded. It was like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, and I was like, "Don't ever ride on your anniversary."
No, I think
Heed my word.
I think also you were mountain biking, weren't you?
That's the other problem.
Yeah.
Paul had to find a way
Yeah,
to
he
dig
always
into that
does.
one.
Probably wouldn't happen
On
down
disc
the road.
brakes.
Yeah.
Well,
Well.
you need disc brakes on that. You'd be dead if you had cantilevers. So
That's what they used back in the old days.
I know. I had Papa.
V brakes, man.
Jeez,
The
I didn't even
V-brakes.
have V brakes.
I remember when V
Diet
brakes
car.
came out. It was just like, holy shit, these things are legit. And then now you realize they're just bullshit too. Hey, you guys, before I get into the gist of the show, I want to make an announcement. Due to multiple emails, calls, and IMs, that's what the kids say, about the Packfiller Classic, I've come to a decision. It appears that everyone and their dog is busy for the month of August, and scheduling issues have been popping up like crazy, along with COVID concerns and a whole lot more. And I wrote the words, "It is with a heavy heart," but I don't know if it's a heavy heart. I mean, it's just like big fucking deal. I'm going to cancel this year's Packfiller Classic. Just too many issues popping up, and my main thing was about having the guys in the show ride the stages and be there on those social stages. And you know, I know, like this week, for example, the focus is on this weekend and getting ready for the race. And then the next weekend, there was something going on and things like that. And you guys have been talking to me and saying, hey, I don't know if I can make the stage in time or something like that. And I just went, you know what? This isn't that big of a deal. And I think that we need to focus on that final punishment time trial anyway, because that's going to be the most fun event of the entire series, and the after party. So and I'm going to let the other stages just fall off the end of the herd and go live in the wild and die by themselves quietly. If you've already competed a stage and sent me your results, I will get them posted, and I will get them posted just for fun. Bookie T, who's usually in charge of this kind of stuff, I'm going to let him off the hook and let him just ride his bike. I will get those posted. So if they're wrong, that's my fault, and they will be wrong. If you donated to a charity already and as a part of a registration, you know what? Send me a note. Let me know, because I've had some people sending me stuff, and I'm going to send you something in return for donating to that charity, because I just think that's kind of cool. Okay, so let's get through that and move on from there. How's the riding been this week? Our main topic of the show is going to be about race prep and tapering and all that kind of stuff. But how's the training week been for everybody? Jackson, now that you moved, well, the move was a fucking nightmare. You guys got stuck.
Yeah. Well, moving is, moving. So that week I didn't really ride, but we did something on, was it Sunday? Yeah. Sunday. Sunday was a good day.
Well, not for Paul.
Yes.
Why don't you just give him a nice paper cut and pour lemon juice on it?
Yeah. Well, I apologize for that.
Cheese grater up my shin.
It's a good day. It felt
Put some
great.
turpentine in there.
Oh yeah, Paul's house is crushed. Yeah.
Well, the ride was good. Not to get too deep into it, but I do remember looking at David, and we were, unbeknownst to me, going for a KOM that was not his, and we were pushing 36 miles an hour, and I'm like, why are we going so hard. The hardest I've ever gone.
That's just following a Waples. By the way, that's just what it is.
Well,
I mean, they're always going 36 fucking miles an hour.
I look to my side and I'm like, I'm not a bitch, so I gotta do this.
Mom, I didn't raise no bitch.
Yeah, seriously. So that was
Son just said that.
Well, that's what road racing brings that out.
Yeah.
It does.
Real fast.
And then you went for a sprint after it, and I was like, well, now, because I'm not a bitch, I got to get on the wheel of David, so that was a lot to handle. But it was good. That was the hardest I've ridden in a really long time, so ever since I raced in Portland, so I'm happy we did that.
Makes me think I might not want a power meter, at least visible on my bike.
It's great because it shows you that, like, oh yeah, this is really hard. Like when my
but
brother,
I don't want that. I don't want to look down and see. Holy shit!
I know what hard is.
I'm doing.
I need numbers to
I'm
tell
doing
me.
400 watts. I can't sustain this. Or should I look down and go, I'm doing 400 watts. I'm a god. I mean, those are the two perspectives you can take on this.
That's Although it's those nice, it's like when we were doing, several of those headwind sections, and like one of them going through Cheney, David and I were holding over 400 watts to go. What were we, like 18 miles an hour? Mm-hmm. And we sat up there that whole long stretch holding that. And I looked at David when we pulled off, and I was like, I'm dead. That hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I had proof of like, I mean, over 400 watts is a substantial number for that period of time.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have anything on the horizon that you're training for?
Just hurting the locals, just like,
You got that
Yeah, for those of you not on video, he pointed at me.
one. Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I if something popped up, I would totally go do it. And I played with the idea of maybe I would go do the Wenatchee stage race because that one's fun.
What's it called, Paul?
Turtle balloon.
Oh, I gotta go get a beer. But keep going, by all means. This camera's in the way now.
Yeah, so I played around with that idea, but on my ride with Paul this weekend, we were talking about how the 1-2s, the problem is that I'm not a full-time racer anymore. So, man, that is a full-time job to be able to keep up with those young bucks. And
just do what I did, downgrade to a 3.
That's honestly, but it's like I'm
at a 4.
Yeah. But the problem is, I think that I would the 3s would be one of those I'd feel kind of
sheepish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you fucking saying, Paul?
I'd get pushed out of it.
I downgraded to a 3. Are you a 2?
No. I'm a 3 because when I had... Anyway,
sorry. Yeah, we interrupted Sam.
No, I mean, all I'm saying is it's just that tough situation of it's more fun to just try to go wreck people locally.
For now. Until you wrecked them all and thought, now what?
Yeah.
Then you go and you start racing.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Or you show up and they're like, oh, he's here.
Yeah. I was that guy at the lineup, though. My first day in the 1-2s at Walla Walla, I was like, I'm going to drop you. I'm going to hurt you. You're going to squirt tears. And it's
See, that's the rage cry.
And they all are looking around at me like, who the hell is this guy? They're thinking I must be some hot shit that just rolled up. I got dropped in the first 50, 60 miles at that pace, right? But I'll talk shit all day. Yeah.
Paul, how'd the week go? Other than...
I mean, that was a decent ride.
We're pushing that away.
Yeah.
But that was a decent ride. You guys, both you, Sam and Paul, you guys went out and hurt each other the day before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we rode the whole time side by side. And I didn't realize how fast we were going. But when we got back, on average speed, it's like... Oh my God, my legs going downstairs, that I could feel it. So we pushed, my legs were pretty sore the next day.
We averaged almost
Sunday.
20 for that 60 plus mile ride.
It was windy.
With wind. Yeah.
So, and then did the TNT.
Yeah.
And made it farther along than I ever had. So the lead group. Yeah.
To quote the Beatles, getting better all the time. Sorry, that just popped in my head. I'm just rolling improv style here. I apologize for. No, that was terrible.
Yeah, I got about four rides in
Really?
last week, which is, with good intensity rides.
Yeah.
So,
I got on my real bike for the first time last Thursday. You guys two people in this podcast saved my ass from riding an old school, really stretched out steel bike yet one more day and hobbling around like I had a 2x4 shoved up my ass for 3 days afterwards, because it was just like, I was just like, oh fuck, I can't move. I used to be so stretched out when I was younger, but I'm not anymore. And
the funny thing is, when we were riding when you're on that bike, and I'm like, you're going, I'm so stretched out, and I'm looking, no, you're not.
Supposed to look. Yeah.
Because he still rides the same form.
He does. And so you guys saved my ass, and that when I said at the onset of the show that I always thought I knew everything I knew, and I know how to work on bikes, and then I watched you guys work on my bike, and I went, fuck, they're doing that really fast. The cable goes around there?
Well, you opened up this like toolkit, and it like unfolds and rolls out, and it goes halfway across the sidewalk. I'm like, what do you got in there? Oh, I've got
me?
Yeah. Oh. I got this pump, and I've got the CO2, and I've got a couple of tubes here. Oh, look at here. And this small little screwdriver goes flying across. And I'm like, who's the... It's like a kid. It's like it says Fisher Price on it.
That's for somebody who rides different styles of bikes.
We're on one bike,
but I have a toolkit for my multiple bikes, for all my different bikes. But anyway, that has nothing to do with what I was talking about. I was watching you guys work on my bike, and Thursday I was able to get out and ride on my Giant on the, I was so happy to be back on it, but I had realized that I had not been on that bike in over 2 weeks. I last time I was on it was before we left for Belgian Waffle, and then I rode my gravel bike a couple times, but not a lot, and I rode the steel bike a couple times, but not a lot. And going out for that Thursday was just such a shock to the system. I thought, honestly, and I was looking at you, Sam, afterward, after I finally got dropped the last time, and you again dropped off, and I was like going, is that fucker coming back to make me go hard again? But
let me die.
Yeah. Let it go. Let me to die. I just want to crawl up in a fetal position and rock back and forth in the middle of this highway. But I was talking to you, and I was just going, oh my god, it shocked my body into like, oh yeah, you okay, this is what you used to do, and this is what you're going to do again. So I have since ridden I rode the classic Prologue, rest in peace. The same stage I did last year, which was actually not an effective Prologue stage, but I do want to say that it was actually a hell of a thing for my ego, because I took 2 minutes off my time from last year, which is a under 2 mile race stage. So that's that for me. Hey, I'm gonna pat myself on the back, and that was really fucking awesome. And then I had a group ride on Sunday. I was feeling really good that day. Feeling great that day, and then I realized that you two, Paul and Sam, had ridden the day before, and that was kind of like one of you guys pissing in my martini, because it was like, hey, I'm awesome. Oh, no, I'm not. You guys rode yesterday, and you guys rode hard yesterday, and so I'm living a lie, but I'm gonna enjoy the lie that it is for now on. And we're 30 minutes in, and I haven't even got to the fucking headlines. But here it is. It's August already. We haven't had a bunch of races to attend. Why do you think? Does anybody have any insight into what's been going on and why we don't have as many races this year? I know we're staring down the barrel of a COVID variant, and people are already starting to pop up and show some of these things. And I'm wondering if there were race directors who just kind of went, fuck it. But the season's been pretty mellow around here. Maybe I'm missing out on something. Jackson, you got some racing in Portland.
Yeah.
Am I just living in a tiny sheltered bubble of Spokane, or are races few and far between?
There's the 5311 that's over. Eric Anderson is doing a bunch of races over on the west side. But
Vance Creek and
that they were just doing over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. But Yeah, I mean, I was really looking forward to those summer crits because that's my thing, and I keep looking like, is Derby Days happening or Ballard, and they're all canceled. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think they're just not.
Is that because of the new COVID strains, or is that because of just the vaccine came late?
I think everyone was just unsure that like the season was even going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were like, well, yep, nope, not going to happen. Plan on it 2022.
Really?
Yeah, I think timidity came over the entire cycling and event world entirely, just because it's like, oh, let's put a lot of money into this, and then for it to all get shut down, it just kind of.
Yeah.
As a race promoter, I'd rather not take the risk and just wait till COVID's gone or gone to a level where it's safe to do it.
Well,
there's a couple of, Ace who does. Everybody got a beer?
yeah. Sam doesn't.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm done with my warm up.
Who's a promoter? You're a promoter for Tour de Bloom?
Drink. I burped right when my face went to the glass.
That guy has been like checking dates, moving, finally solidified, and it's late, like September, in the September 20, what is it, weekend 23rd, 24th, 25th, something.
The race you speak of, which we shall not speak of,
yes,
is
at the end, towards the end of September. So
wake me up when September ends.
yeah.
Wow.
So he did that for the assurance that there's more likely. Now the borders open up, the Canadians can come down, which there's always going to be a big battle between the Americans and Canadians. Sam and I had that talk. Yeah. I don't know why. There's no reason.
Yeah.
I got
But there is.
But I hate them.
Yeah.
You hate Canadians?
Yep.
Racing against them.
Yep.
They're so strong.
Yeah.
Pasty white. Yeah, it's like
Hey,
they don't
careful
have
on
tan
the pasty
lines.
white comments.
Oh, no, they're pastier than you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Great White North.
Yeah. They
Great
wear their
white- great
toques.
white
They
pack.
wear their toques underneath their helmets. I'm just kidding. No, they don't.
Jesus.
So yeah, I mean, there's some promoters that kept, trying to keep the ball rolling, and Ace really, because that's the biggest stage race in the state of Washington, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So a Cascade didn't happen, right?
No.
So
Okay. I just feel like it's weird. It's an odd season. It's an incredibly odd season, and
not as odd as last year.
no, that's
That was
that's
really
that's
weird.
true. Yeah. I gotta fast forward. I gotta get to the headlines, because there is one thing we all have to talk about, and Sam doesn't know I'm throwing him under the bus of picking Tour of Vuelta a España, but just when you thought you could relax, I don't have the theme because my old school computer shit the bed, and I can say my old school computer shit the bed, and I can do this. Yeah, so I don't have any more. I don't have my news theme. Maybe this will work. No, that sounds fucking stupid. But so there's I don't have the news theme until I get a new computer. But just when you thought you could relax, another biggie pops up on the racing calendar. Yeah, the race that plays with your emotions and allows riders one last chance to grab the spotlight is here. The Vuelta, everybody. This year's biggest news is the form of Egan Bernal versus Primož Roglic, the battle there. Egan's coming off a Giro win. Egan. See, I question myself on every fucking bike racer's name now. I'm so terrified of screwing it up after so many years of who's the guy who won the Tour this year, everybody?
Pogačar.
See, I've been. You know what's happening? I'm becoming the mock of this show. I am
Your show.
I'm running myself into fucking hell for this show, because what I'm doing is I'm making myself look dumber and dumber every episode. It's like some guy started off going like, "Well, it's a great show, but the guy doesn't know who Leah Wilcox is," and I was like, "Okay, no, I don't." And then, Pat doesn't know how to change his front derailleur, and now it's like I don't know how to say Primož Roglic. Anyway, sorry. So Bernal's coming off a Giro win and silent preparation. We haven't heard much from him after that. Roglic is coming off an entire backside filled with road rash and an Olympic TT win that it's almost looked like he thought he had another lap to go. So thoughts on, first of all, primarily anybody, this battle and if it will prove worthy. Does anybody? Jackson had his ready to rock.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. I won't go too deep into it, but I'm really interested / worried to see if Jumbo-Visma can band around a guy who seems to not be able to stay upright.
Yeah, I'm not concerned too.
And also looking at the team of Ineos Grenadiers, you have the current gold medalist, you have another current gold medalist, and then, some pretty big names.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting battle between
Jura
those two.
winner.
Yep.
Also on that.
Carapaz, Adam Yates, Mikel Landa, Miguel Angel Lopez, Enric Mas, just to name a few. And the parcours this year, no finish in Madrid this year, a time trial, pretty good distance time trial to end the Vuelta. Is it just me, or does this race provide a good deal more surprises than the other Grand Tours?
It usually does. The Vuelta always has a tendency to always surprise. It's always interesting. You have the guys who crashed out in the earlier Grand Tours or didn't do so well. This is a last chance for everybody, it seems like, to get their chance to come up front, or those people that saved to be, the young and up-and-coming guys have a tendency to try and hit it hard. So it's unpredictable. It's a hard one to predict.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the other ones are easy. Take it from me.
Yeah.
Do such a good job.
And we do have the one and only Sepp Kuss in this one, which is actually a very cool thing to see, and I don't mean to make it all America, but God damn it, America. That his position obviously is playing second fiddle to Roglic, but who knows where that could end up within the first week. So I don't mean to fast forward through something as grand as the Vuelta, but we should probably, do we want to make some picks? Everybody has the list in front of them here, thanks to our friends at Pro Cycling Stats, by the way.
When did you print this out? Because I'm looking at Jumbo-Visma.
This afternoon.
Yeah, and now, because they have Groenewegen on Pro Cycling Stats, it's not on this list. They got George Bennett, and it's not on this list. So this is the newest list that probably just came out.
I swear I did this about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago.
Yeah, and they probably just changed at the last minute.
Oh, okay. So you're saying mine is more right than yours?
No, I would say this is Pro Cycling Stats. That's their job.
Oh, okay.
And that's where
what you're saying is this is more right. The copy I provided.
What I just pulled up on my phone
is more right.
Fucking because it's
I can't
this is
do
fresh.
anything.
This is new. This is paper. This is dated. See, this is printed out. As soon as it hits the paper,
It's the interweb.
yeah. This
You
this
kids
turns
and yours.
over.
We're
It's got a
doing
little
live.
arrow I can refresh. Look at that. Yeah. There we go.
It just changed again.
Yeah. There we go.
I'd say print it again, but it'll be outdated by the time that shows up.
I was thinking switching to Tuesday, they'd have a better start list.
Yeah, a
Then
lot
on
of good
Monday,
that
it's like
did
we
me.
had like two
Yeah.
riders or something. So
Look where that got me.
well, close
Switching
enough.
to
Close enough.
Tuesdays. Get it closer.
But
to
I
Tuesday.
think that if we're picking head honchos, guys to win,
I don't think we should put anything on the line this time because Paul's
God,
got to
no.
suffer enough anyway.
Jeez.
By the way,
pride.
behind Paul's head is now the official wall of shame. It has the kit of shame with Viagra and the Rogaine, and the back has even more. And it now has my left shifter on it.
Where's the Concord saddle?
The Concourse saddle will go up there.
Yeah, right.
Anything that just sucks
Mm-hmm.
is
Where
going
did
to
you
go on
find
that
that
wall.
jersey?
My brother-in-law made it for me for my 50th birthday. She's switching around. Actually, if somebody get out, switch the hanger
What's
around. For
the
those of you
medal?
who can't see it, the medal, I don't know. The medal I just thought was something that, AARP,
God.
Depend, Metamucil. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. Yeah, my brother-in-law made that for me. So Paul had to wear that the first time he did a shame ride, and that was when he had to ride the entire
rollers for-
show on the
yeah.
rollers.
Yeah.
And then he sprinted at the end and broke my beer glass.
Yeah, vibrated off the
Yeah,
table.
yeah. He was going so fast.
That's a great idea.
So anyway, we should not necessarily provide a punishment for this one, but I put here in my notes that we could pick 2 leaders, but they can't be Roglic and Bernal together.
Oh, perfect.
an outsider and a stage winner. I don't think you can pick a sprinter at this one because it's so fucking hilly. So it's almost like you get to pick your 2 leaders, an outsider, maybe just 3 riders, two leaders and an outsider. Does that sound like too much to ask? No. I mean, people can call us out on the fact that we failed miserably and go from there. And I'm going to pick people that are probably going to not have excuse me, my God, I'm burping. I'm such an amateur tonight. It's like I've never been in the broadcasting world. And I'm looking through my list of writers, and I'm trying to figure out who the hell's going on. Does anybody have 2 leaders? And Jackson, you already do?
Yep.
Wow.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
So, I am unsurprisingly going to pick as one of my 2 leaders, Egan Bernal.
Okay.
I think he had too good of a Giro to not win this, and this will equal his all 3 Grand Tour win, like monument or whatever.
Okay.
My second leader is Alexander Vlasov, who has nothing to lose because he's so young. So that means he will throw everything at the wall. And then my last one is going to be a man who was actually tipped to possibly win the Tour de France if he went, and it's Gino Mader from Bahrain Victorious.
Oh,
good choice.
Yeah.
Sam, you don't have to jump into this if you don't want to. I mean, I don't want to throw you under the bus, but
I'm totally
you're welcome
down
to play around if you want to.
Was it Jacobson that was the young kid that was in the Tour? Is that who I'm thinking of?
For Fabio?
Team, Fabio.
What?
Was that? Am I right? Who was the young kid that was like he was doing great for DeCornick? He was young. He was like 20. I think it's him. I'm going with that.
That's your outsider or your leader?
That's gonna be an outsider.
Okay.
So we guess 3 leaders.
2 leaders and an outsider.
Okay. Primoz Roglic for 1 leader.
That's a good choice.
And then let's do Miguel Angel Lopez.
That's a great choice. Those are actually really good choices. Paul, what are you rolling to the deck with?
Well, I was going to do Bernal, but I passed on that. I'm going to do Roglic and Mikel Landa. Both of them can't stay upright.
Yep.
So,
and I think I got an omen with my tree can't stay upright. So I'm going with
that.
See, there's a theme behind
that was good.
And then Max Schachmann, who seems to not be able to stay
You've held on.
Always got to be a German.
Yeah, always a German. I tried to do a Belgian, but not in the classic. I mean, in the Grand Tour.
I'm going to play around. I'm going to start off with my obvious pick, and I'm going to curse him by saying Primoz Roglic. I'm just going.
You bastard. Okay, I'm changing.
No.
Pick his guy.
Yeah. No, I'm not picking Egan Bernal. I'm going to pick Hugh Carthy as my other leader.
This is a good tour for him.
Mm-hmm.
As another leader. And my third rider is going to be Guillaume Martin from Cofidis. I don't know why, but I'm picking Guillaume Martin for Cofidis. But there we go. So that's what I'm sticking to. And I'm very unprepared for this race. I have kind of been looking at other stuff. You know, I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off lately, and I haven't been really paying too much attention to the games. So it could be interesting. So, yeah. I guess that's what we're going to do. Let's go from there. I guess that's it. I had more. I had COVID in the Tour of Portugal. I had all kinds of stuff like that. But you know what? Fuck it. We got to get to the topic of the show, don't we? That's what happens in the world of podcasting, right? We got a time limit, even though there isn't one. Let's get to the topic of tonight's show, brought to us by our friends at Scratch Labs, the best tasting and performing hydration out there, and Athletic Brewing, the best tasting and non-alcohol alternative to beer. And I'm sorry for what I said earlier in the show, because I'm going to turn the camera on myself, and I'm going to call myself out, and I've said it 1,000 times before. I consider athletic and beer different things. I think they call it a non-alcoholic brew. And what did you think?
It was good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I recently started drinking, this is hilarious.
If you say seltzer, I'm going to...
Budweiser Zero.
Oh!
Jeez.
God!
I don't even know why.
Door's right there.
Oh, it's horrible. And I was like, I think that I had it because I was like floating one day. And, you're like, then you got your wits about you when you're out on the water, right?
No,
And-
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, much better than that.
Okay.
Yes.
The hazy IPA is in there too, and it's not bad. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
that
bad.
was just the standard
You just had
IPA.
the standard. Yeah, they run wild. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So get your butts over to packfiller.com. Click on the links, please, and give them a taste. The best during and after ride beverages out there. I want to talk about race preparation today, you guys. The final days before a big race. We have all been there. We've all had success stories, and we're all likely probably have beautiful failure stories. There are ways to do this properly, ways to get by, and there are ways to really screw things up. Let's see if we can come up with on all fronts here. So guys, in no particular order, talk to me about your training and how meticulously you guys tend to prepare for a big race. I've seen coaching documents talking about, peaking up to the last second and the last hour and stuff like that. And I go, how realistic is that for somebody who has a life? How do you guys prepare, and how much detail do you put into up to the last moment and things like that? Does anybody want to go and jump right into this?
I've probably got the shortest version of all of these answers. If we're being really honest, I didn't really train for Belgian Waffle Ride. I trained for road racing. And it showed at the end, 11 hours in, and there's a picture in BWR where they didn't get my face; they only got the top of my helmet because that's how I felt at the end of the day. And so I think I have been strictly focusing on how can I be a road racer for the future, because that's what I find most interesting in racing right now. Am I meticulous? No, because luckily I have the power of youth along my side, so I can, if I want to, get fit in 4 weeks. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
Sam, Paul, yeah.
I mean, I've been coached previously,
Yeah.
and that was definitely the best I did, like week after week after week. And like you chose your A races that you peaked for and all that. That was great. But I think that now, like with being more career focused and other things besides bikes, like this year with my big ride across the state, I mean, that was a big undertaking but I just always look at like, what does the event require?
Yeah.
And that's how I train for it. So I just break it down into pieces, like, are there hills? Is there wind? Is there like that type of stuff? And I just break it down to that, and that's how I train. And then I usually give myself just default a week off before I would like go into the event. So if races this Saturday, last Saturday, Sunday is going to be my hardest rides, and then during the week I'm just going to kind of keep things moving and not overdo it.
Yeah. Paul?
In my early days, of course, we had like Eddie B's book, and then Greg LeMond had his.
I had both over there. That's really sad
you
about
just
my
would
existence.
read those and do well. He being LeMond had that micro workout type.
Yeah.
That was his structure, as opposed to Eddie B was this is what you did on this day, this is what you did on that day, every single day, pretty much. Sprint workout. Mondays and Fridays were easy. Saturdays, if you weren't racing, Saturday, Sunday, you were riding like it was a race.
Yeah.
And Wednesdays, too, was high intensity or long. LSD. Long, slow distance. So, I mean, that's, everybody else trying to train the same way. And like Sam says, once you get older, and it's not really your focus. I mean, cycling is a huge part of my life, but, now it's just shits and giggles. I mean, that's what I'm doing it for. But the most successful I've been in cycling is when I was racing almost 4 days a week when we had we had a Twilight Series, and then Badlands backed up with that, and then I'd go out on the weekend, and it was nonstop. And the other days that I wasn't racing, I was just kind of spinning my legs and chatting. It's just intensity, and I had great success that way, and there was no structure to it. So
yeah. I have spent my most recent time in focusing on forcing myself to sign up for a big event and training for that big event, and then what comes out of that is just bonus. It's just gravy. And I came out of Belgian Waffle thinking, okay, cool. I've got a month or so to train for the next big race. And no, I was wrong. I only had 3 weeks to train for the next big race. But it's because I'm shitty at the schedule. I'm shitty at the calendar, and that's my own fault. But and now it's just a matter of, okay, here we go, and I do have to say that, and Sam, this made me thinking about the topic of this show, is you and I talking after the Thursday race when I was just destroyed, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, and you and I were talking at length about I can't remember the terms you gave it, but muscle memory and things like that in terms of what you can do to yourself and what your body, you're waking your body up or something like that, and trying to figure out those types of things. And that Thursday was hell, but the Friday and Saturday things are kind of clicking together. And today I went out and I just did a couple quick hard jumps on some hills and stuff like that to kind of keep the body, it's not my brain, I don't think, as much as just muscular memory, just kind of deal with those things.
And it's the different systems. Like, that's the biggest thing. And so, like, physiologically speaking, you have, anaerobic systems, right? And so if you're not accessing those higher level, high speed fibers, then you're going to just shut them off.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, you're not going to gain anything, like, actually strength-wise in the last week of an event. That's why it's like everybody, I've talked to so many people about this. I'm like, rest. Like, you need to rest, because that's where you can actually, build up your glycogen stores and everything, and then just keep the, pump primed for race day, and then just freaking blow it out of the water, leave everything out there. But yeah, so many people just are like, oh, well, if I take a day off, I'm going to be exhausted. Like, once the day comes, my legs aren't opened up. I'm like, no, just keep, short, quick intervals. Like, especially, you don't have all the time in the world to train. Yeah. So use, train smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
There's a lot of riders that train, with short intervals that are incredible, like, pro crit racers. And they just do shorter events.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's also the thing that my brain has had to wrap around, is it's okay to go out and do a maximum 3-hour ride now, because just the endurance method that we were all focused on for such a long time is like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It's just putting matches in the match book, and so it's like, instead, do a 3-hour ride, but maybe do like multiple 20-minute intervals in there. Intervals are key. Like, that is just a way to boost up, those high intensity intervals, but don't overcook yourself.
Yeah. How about, what do you guys think in terms of if you were talking to somebody who's approaching this for the first time? And my main reason for bringing it up is we have our district championships this weekend. And how would you recommend people approach 2 weeks out, 1 week out, and even the day before, kind of a mentality in terms of preparation for these types of things? And I know it's probably each person has their own different thing, but like, for example, I went out today and I did some hard efforts. I wanted to do some hard efforts because I'm scared about, resting. You said rest, but I'm scared of resting too much where I come back in and it's like last Thursday and my body's going, what? Or something like that. Paul, do you have a method you approach 2 weeks out, 1 week out, things like that?
No, I'm not a good example. I wouldn't ever, anything that I would say, my position on the bike, I think, to me, I think one of the things that I benefit from is putting yourself in that pain and those, like the TNT ride for us, pushing yourself to the point where there's so many times and you're like, no, I'm going to get dropped now. And then you're constantly pushing yourself. You'll be surprised how far you can go.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that up to a race, once you get to that moment, you're going to quit. But I think, in my experience, at least me personally, my biggest weakness is shutting down before I, have to step off the bike and throw up. You want to almost get to that point if racing is your objective, winning that race, because things change. I've seen where I'm thinking I'm done and even got dropped, and the next thing you know, the pack slows down for some reason, and you're on there, and they've been burning each other out, and you're almost as fresh as everybody else. You can't. That's the sweet thing about, to me, road racing is it's not over. It never is over. But the mental aspect, you have to suffer. You have to get and it's it's on somebody. To me, it works more on somebody's wheel as opposed to getting on a trainer and like holding a speed, because there's variance. There's somebody like attacks. You're right on the edge, and somebody attacks, and you got a gap, and you got to close that gap because you know that's what. I mean, those are the games you have to play, and that doesn't happen on cartoon riding. So, you know.
I agree with that. Well, that is a true form. Like that is a good thing about training up closer to the event, is that getting used to being uncomfortable for longer. Because in my, like, I would say prime, with quotation marks, is like I remember doing the state champs time trial, and that was the worst feeling I've ever felt for an hour and 20 minutes. And the fact that I could feel that bad for an hour and 20 minutes and not just pull the plug at any moment wasn't because the whole season I was like, oh, I can do this for 20 minutes. I can do this for 30 minutes. I can do this. Yeah. So it's like that, kind of like what you're saying is, that is big learning, like, oh, I don't have to quit yet. But you're still not going to make gains physically, but mentally, totally.
I think for me anyway, that I think I shut down many times mentally before the physical.
Yeah.
More often than the physical.
I don't think that's you. I think we could probably say that most athletes are probably in that wheelhouse, so to speak, where it's this.
It's self-preservation.
Yeah.
I mean, your body tells you for a reason, like, dude, you're gonna die.
Yeah. And everybody thinks they could have gone a little bit longer and stuff like that. And by the way, the people who throw up at the finish line just didn't eat proproperly. That's bullshit if you throw up
or drank too much.
Yeah, I would know. Oh shit! Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen more triathletes come across the line, and by the way, they always fucking vomit right at the finish, right where I'm standing there talking on a microphone, and they're just like going bleh, right there. I'm like, you couldn't take 10 more steps, you selfish
I saved this
douche.
just for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You get to smell bile for the rest of the day.
Yeah. So it's always like that. Does anybody have any superstitions or traditions or ritual you perform before events in terms of preparation, in terms of food, in terms of anything like that? You're like, I gotta do this. This is my pre-race ritual.
I have noticed what works well for me the night before, at least, is like, and everybody's gonna be like, oh duh, but like I found that at least 2 to 3 32-ounce water bottles, just have them throughout the day. Water, obviously, has been the best for me, because I wake up the next morning, I've hydrated properly, and not to be the guy who lives by the numbers, but my Whoop scores are higher when that happens. And to me, like, whether the Whoop, I believe that it's a real number, but whether it's real or not, it's also mentally, I see green. That means I see green out on the road as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I think the water, and if I see a green score in the morning, that's what's going to make me even more excited. When we did our ride this weekend, I had green in the morning, and I was like, it's going to be a good day. And funnily,
it was.
No,
yeah.
I was going to hold off on this before I asked you about this. I was going to do this later in the show, but you woke up the morning of Belgian Waffle Ride, and you were in the red.
Yeah, and I waited about 12 miles to tell you.
Yeah, but who cares if you told me or not?
Yeah.
What did that do to you? I mean, this is that wake-up data. This now that we have all this information at our fingertips, what do you do on the mornings where you wake up and the numbers don't match? How did you deal with that?
It's a really freaky thing, especially doing the longest and hardest ride I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
So I woke up and I saw that, and I was like, that was expected. First of all, I knew I wouldn't get a high score. And also, I thought, well, it's just a number. I spent the money. I got to do it.
Really?
I knew, however, what happened. I knew that what happened would happen. I knew by the end of the day, just body fat, everything like that it would eventually. I know I have a time cutoff in terms of how
long you could go.
Yeah, I knew.
Oh, okay.
I knew when we hit double digits, that's when. Actually, when I hit like a 7-hour mark, that's when I knew it was gonna explode.
Really?
But, yeah, and the number solidified it more for me. So.
Do you guys think that's a mental barrier, or do you think that's like when you look at something on your phone in the morning that says you're going to be tired, is there a way to combat against that? Like, for example, I'm going to wake up on Saturday morning. It's going to be the day of the race. My Whoop score might say I'm 33%, even though I think I feel okay. Should I not even look at that fucking thing in the morning? What do you do?
I think it's a personal thing. I mean, if you don't allow that to bother you, we're talking about the mental side. That would bother the hell out of me.
I feel like
honestly.
it's that you and I would probably line up with this. It doesn't matter,
Yeah,
right? Like
you're going to race anyway.
You're racing anyway, so
Yeah.
it's one of those things. Like I wouldn't want to see it because either way, it's gonna hurt. Like whether you win the race or you get last place, it's gonna hurt. Like so, whatever your Whoop score is, like that doesn't really matter. It's cool for training purposes, but come race day, I wouldn't look at it. Personally,
because I was wondering if I should not even look, because I had a good score on Belgian waffle, but I oh man, that's almost like somebody saying, "Hey, Christmas presents are downstairs in the living room. They're all open. You can look at them."
So
like,
no,
I won't look at them.
Here, you could answer your question. What if your Whoop score would have been lower? Like you were in the red or orange or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Do you think your mentality going into it would have been differently?
I don't know. It might have been. It might have been in the back of my mind, and that's what I was wondering with you, Jackson. Was that in the back of your mind, wondering, my body isn't fully recovered for this. Maybe I'm going to hit a wall.
It also reminded me, hey, you got to conserve.
Okay.
Just because it reminded me, first of all, you're 6% body fat. You can't hold a lot in.
Just brag it out, Jackson. That's okay. Somebody's phone's going.
But yeah, it was just a good reminder as to like, hey, this could, like, something could happen. You just got to keep that in the back of your head. So.
Okay. So that's a good way to look at it. Now I'm terrified. I don't know whether I want to look at my phone in the morning. I do think it's like the morning of Paris-Roubaix. I don't look at my phone because somebody's going to spoil it for me. So I don't want my phone to tell me you're going to have a shitty day.
I do think road racing, especially in what we're about to do, is different because you aren't going to hit. We might hit 107s, but you aren't going to face that dehydration.
Yeah.
That am I going to be able to make it 131 miles type of situation.
Sure.
We're gonna be dehydrated. It's 102.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But not to the point that I saw you.
Yeah, I was in a bad place.
Yeah.
I was in a bad place. Pre-race rituals. Sorry to jump back to
No.
that. Do you guys? What do you guys have? And like, for example, I was told once upon a time that I have to finish eating 2 hours before the start of my event. I make sure that even if the race starts at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm up before. I make sure all my food's in my system at least 2 hours before the start of the event. I usually stick to oatmeal. Oatmeal goes down my system really well. Oatmeal with bananas, and that's my pre-race ritual. That's what I force myself to do. I'm trying to think and I have to be at the race at least an hour before the event. Every race.
God, I don't really have a race. Honestly, I haven't done it in so long. Like, I haven't raced in, I feel like, years. And the last time I did it was Derby days when I just rolled up and Logan Owen was there and just crushed everyone. So it didn't matter what your ritual was. But, like, I follow a pretty strict, like, don't eat anything substantial. Like, probably 3 hours out would be like when I start eating, because like those 1-2 races, you're usually racing in the afternoon or the evening, which is hard for me because all my training is in the morning. So once again, like, that would be something that I would tailor towards with my training. But yeah, that, and then 2 songs, look them up: The Man by Aloe Black and Win by I can't remember who it was.
So you have a pre-race list.
Listen to those 2 songs and you're set. And then a little Enya to calm you right before.
Oh God, I don't know the words.
Yep.
See, I'm officially going to date myself. I used to listen to some U2 before the race started.
Yeah.
2 hearts beat as one kind of thing.
Yep.
I'm an idiot. Paul?
I think everybody has music of some sort, and mine's always changed depending on age and whatever's. Now mine's like banjo music.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I'm all ready to go. But I think the only true ritual I've kept before any race is usually a double espresso. So
Right.
and that's about it.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't change
Like
my
an hour
diet.
before?
Hour depends if where I get a good espresso. I mean, like
Yeah.
it might be 2-3 hours if I have to drive a while to get a good espresso. I'm not going to go into some drive-through and they always, you want flavor with that? It's
Yeah.
like, no, it's just an espresso. You don't put anything in it?
Yeah.
Is that with
No,
water?
you know what? I don't even want what you're going to make. Thank you.
You're saying you just want the
You know, that's just this stuff. Yeah, I know. But
You want the shot?
Hey, this motherfucker just wants the coffee.
Yeah.
so that's why I stay away from those people.
Okay.
But that's about it. I don't change my diet or anything.
Really?
I eat and do. And sometimes you have to change your diet like the night before a race because you pull into town. You're trying to find the restaurant, and every freaking spaghetti place is full.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always go for some place that has cabbage rolls. Because
you want to gas out the rest of the field.
oh boy, it all comes out. I feel light. I feel really light. I can climb today.
That's a question I was going to ask. A double espresso before a race can have an effect on some of us, and then halfway through the race, you're
talking
going
about bowel movement.
Yeah, you're going to take the
No,
Browns
if you
to the
have
Super Bowl.
cabbage roll before, that's already, believe me, in the morning, it's out of there.
Okay, so
cabbage
you're
roll's
a
got you
clean
out.
slate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cabbage is great.
You're I-5 as far as the poop
that's
sheet.
right. In fact,
Okay.
I'm gonna make some cabbage rolls on Friday.
How about I'm going to ask the question, which is almost a sin on this podcast. How about your alcohol intakes? The week before a race, the day before a race, the night before a race. Is anybody, Jackson? You probably.
I don't know if. I don't know how. I don't really do that much.
Yeah.
I think that's what I was eventually trying to get to. Yeah, I don't really drink that much.
I will say you took you've been known to take Benadryl before because you're used to staying up so late that you're like, I got to get my body to go to sleep.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, last night.
It's not a performance enhancer. Yeah, he wouldn't
What
be
about like
busted for that,
melatonin?
right? Same.
Doesn't do anything for you?
Well, it might. I don't
Okay.
know. I've never tried it. But like, for instance, last.
Try it.
Yeah.
Can you smoke it?
But yeah, that's the thing I have to do. I have to take like a sleep aid before I have to get up early. Just like last night, I was the first night before getting up at
Work.
6
Yeah.
for a new job. So it's like I didn't sleep. I have to do that stuff to help me sleep. So I'll probably have to do that this weekend if I have to get up early, which I don't. But
Guys, you drink before or
I've been
anything
known
like
to.
that?
That's two different answers.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like, I probably won't Friday.
I love, by the way, the irony that you're wearing a shirt that says, I give in to peer pressure.
Yeah, I won't probably Friday. I mean, in my younger days, I have been known to take a couple drinks before, but not hammered, but get a buzz on. And, but I'm too old for that anymore.
I'll have a beer.
Yeah.
See,
I
I'm the
don't think-
opposite.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You get
You
hammered.
crack open the whiskey.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. Bourbon boy.
Shot.
But it's like back in the day when I was like racing was what I was doing. I was not drinking at all through the whole season. I would not touch alcohol. And nowadays, man, even before that cross the state ride, we were all drinking.
Right.
There's that's just extra calories for the trip now. Like that's
Good
my
point.
philosophy
Yeah.
now. But
Not going to get any faster.
yeah,
So
but
let's just get slower.
Yeah, but it will affect your sleep. Like if you're truly trying to target something, I wouldn't drink. Probably like
No.
3 or 4 days out.
Really?
Yeah,
What's today?
oh shit.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, I'm good.
you're good.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
tonight's the night.
Um,
Rage.
rage. How about a technical aspects of your bike? When do you kind of, for example, guys, when should I install that shifter on my front
Not
gear?
now.
Not now.
No, I wouldn't do it now.
Not until
it's working.
Monday?
It's working right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't.
I'm seriously. If you're, everybody needs to know that I am on a borrowed front shifter from Sam.
Run it as long as you want. Actually, that's David's.
Oh, it is. Oh,
yeah.
well, fuck it then.
Exactly. He has multiple of those.
Yeah.
No, I would probably stick with it. I personally might change it just because.
Yeah, but That's you changing.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know.
When did I become the worst mechanic on the face of the planet?
If it works, like, don't mess with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
I'm
And it gives you an
considering.
excuse. I mean,
Huh.
say you like lose,
Well,
you get
first of
second
all-
place by like 2 millimeters. That's that shit.
That 105 shifter
For
weighs a shit ton more.
way
than
more.
This is not a hilly course. You will never use that small ring on this race. You will not.
I'll put that
Can-
to the test.
You might. Yeah. He shouldn't.
Okay, let's talk about mistakes you've made in the past. I'll start out. For example, I've made a couple mistakes of pre-race preparation in my life. One of them was, for example, I had my wisdom teeth yanked out the day of a Tuesday night race, and that was fun because I got to go up to the actual line. I raced that night, could still barely talk, and I spit blood on the start line and went, let's go. That was not a good idea. Drinking whilst in college was never a good idea, but one of my ones I will never forget is I drove over to the Seattle area to do a crit, and I was staying at my mom's house. She was living over there, and for some reason they weren't there, and it was a Cat 1-2 crit, so I had until the late afternoon to get ready, and for some reason I just sat down and started watching TV, and I came across a movie I'd never seen before. I'd never seen Pink Floyd's The Wall before this time, and so I was like, well, fuck, I got a couple hours, I'll sit down and watch this. Oh my God! I was in such a mental funk after watching Pink Floyd's
Really?
The Wall that I remember showing up at the crit barely making like 3 laps. I was just going like, why bother, man? It's just all we are. It's just another brick in the wall, dude. I was so depressed after that. It just ruined it. And it was like one of those Wheatman's Mayor's Cups races. So there was like money on the line, and I just couldn't do it. It just destroyed me. So that's my stupid story of poor race prep. Does anybody have any ones they'd like to top it with, or even reach? Dax, I know yours was all more of a crash situation.
Yeah, mine are little.
Yeah.
I think I've had such limited amount of experience racing because right when I got into racing, it all kind of went away. But I will say, before one of the first time you and I ever rode Mount Spokane together, that was when my knee was really hurting, and so I would use CBD lotion on my knee before rides and everything just to make sure, for sure.
Doper.
Yeah, exactly. So
You and Floyd.
But I remember there was the day, so I had this in the past. There had been multiple rides where I had put on my CBD lotion and everything, and I made sure to wash my hands, and then like we'd get going on the ride, but I'd feel kind of weird. I'd feel mellow. I'd feel like not with it all the way. And then that happened a few consecutive times, and then the day we first rode Mount Spokane together, I finally put it together. So I wear contacts, and so you have to wash your hands so much to get it all off. So I put my CBD lotion on,
Mainlining CBD.
and then I put my contacts in with lotion hands that had recently had CBD. And we're about halfway up Mount Spokane, and it finally clears, my head fog finally clears, and I'm like, oh my God.
He had kaleidoscope eyes.
I had been getting CBD straight into my eyes.
Straight.
Oh my God. Because I didn't wash my hands well enough. And I told one of my friends that night after we did a ride, and he was like, oh my God, I'm surprised you're here right now because of how strong that would have been, going straight into my eye. But yeah, that was a weird thing I did.
It's like butt chugging, but
eye chugging.
Right? But it's like, boom, immediate.
really.
Yeah.
Butt chugging?
You never heard of butt chugging?
Don't look it up.
No,
Don't look
I'm
it
not
up.
going to.
Never heard of a man
All the kids
standing
do
on
it,
his
bro.
head, glug, glug, glug,
pouring liquor down his ass.
hit your head
Hits you
faster.
faster.
No.
Don't do it.
Exit only. Exit only, friends.
Okay, anybody got another horror story when they've absolutely fucked up race preparation?
I think like a couple of bad ones. I mean, I've done everything in the books with like, as far as like collegiate racing goes, it's every weekend you're doing, a stage
liquor.
race. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like I've made every bad decision out there for race prep, but I think the worst ones were like waking up in Seattle when I was first graduated from college. Woke up in Seattle, drove back here, and I woke up there like 4:30 in the morning. Came back here to race that Green Bluff circuit race,
God, yeah.
and just got wrecked.
Yeah.
Like that was horrible. That was a terrible decision. I shouldn't have even entered that race. And then the worst, like, most discomfort I've been in. You guys know what Embro cream is?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Apply chamois cream before Embro cream.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So did that in a wet race.
It's like
And
super
over-
icy hot, but hotter.
It's literally chili pepper oil.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually put it on your legs, keep your legs warm, but if you put it on your chamois, I guess it's like mainlining.
It's
through
like
your eyeball.
mainlining through your but not your eyeballs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's,
Did it work like Viagra or something?
You know, I have to say it was kind of thrilling.
It just won't go down. 4 hours. Where's the phone number?
That's because it's trying to escape. Yeah. It's trying to get as far away from your body as possible.
Talk about a missile.
That was the worst. That was I think it was a 4-hour Olympic stage race that was in the rain in the early spring. It was just, that sucked.
It rains over there?
Yeah, a lot.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Who would've
I have
thought?
to ask Jack.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah, exactly. No, it's always nice and
Yeah.
Hoquim. Paul, mistakes?
I think
Never made a mistake.
No, I think I do fancy like hot spicy foods. I'd back that off. There was a place, Sonic Burrito, not Sonic, but it's Slick Rock Burrito over here. They had a habanero sauce, and it was extra hot. And I failed the next day.
Coming down to hot foods.
I told you exit only. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. And my mistake was I didn't have ice cream for a chaser. So I'm at the race, and I'm like, I could feel like sweating, and it's like,
How does this stuff stay inside?
Got the beat.
I don't know. And then,
sweats. Yeah.
yeah, and the worst part is I got to run to the bathroom, and it's like a park one, and there's no toilet paper, and the only thing I can find is a Snickers bar wrapper, and that's all I have. Not much grab or moisture on that, but that's all I had. And then talk about going back to the mental aspect. The whole time I'm like, I know why it's itching. I know why it's burning. Because I didn't wipe well. And that's in your back of your head, and you're trying to race, but it's like, whew, I got a shower.
Kind of sounds a lot like my experience.
That chamois might have to be replaced.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
still raced. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Oh, yeah.
impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
And remember,
God.
I raced in somebody else's dirty chamois once.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
that's going on the greatest hits of the Packfiller podcast. Have you guys ever had a feel like crap, but actually raced incredibly well kind of an experience? You know, we talked about whoop scores, but have you ever had that like, oh my God, this is not going to go well, and then all of a sudden, holy shit, I feel great? You guys had those days?
Every time I ride hard.
Really?
Yeah, on Sunday, I was like, first half of the ride felt like hell.
Yeah.
And then it clicked. And then BWR, I told you the first 24 miles, I was feeling like crap. But it's just like anything I think I have nerves about or I'm excited for or any of that type of stuff that I'm probably a little overly competitive about, feel like hell in the first 20 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, every time.
Crits all the time. The first, at least quarter, third of the crit. You're
First
like,
20
oh
minutes.
my God, I'm never going to make it. And next
Yeah.
thing you know, you're like, you're pushing
there.
people out of the way. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not
Really?
even thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, first 20 minutes of a crit are just...
It's crazy.
Yeah, just hang on. Like, you just survive the first 20 minutes. After that, you're good. Yeah. No, I've had many experiences like that. I think the most memorable one was, like, down in Portland. My brother and I did some downtown crit, and we ended up going 1-2. And it was, the first part of it, I was like, I'm wrecked. There's no way. I'm toasted. And then David was out there, and I was like... Mama didn't raise no bitch. See?
What is this germ?
Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
You're gonna join us in that.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be a part of this. You're doomed. Like I'm telling you, it's the same thing as like when you were riding next to him this weekend. It's like, oh, he's doing it. Why can't I do it?
Really?
You know?
That's exact. I saw 36 and I'm like, I can probably do 37.
Yeah, I can.
Exactly. You guys are never going to enjoy the sport for just the sport, are
No.
you? It's always going to be a competitive element.
Yes.
Always.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what the sport is.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I don't even.
You selfish pricks.
Competitive. The competitiveness is making the other person hurt.
Yeah,
And that's what it is. I made you hurt worse than I.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I proved it.
Exactly. And that's exactly it. But I mean, I love being hurt. Like I come back from that Sunday ride, I was wrecked. Like I crashed at 5 o'clock on Sunday night.
I keep thinking that you're just being nice to the rest
No.
of us when you do this shit.
No.
Because this is like, no, you guys were fucking, no. And Paul, it's just like, you go and you just put this tempo on a roller climb and I get to the top and I'm rage crying. And you're just like, so anyway, what I was saying, in your middle of a story, and I'm like, you dick, you don't even hurt. But you are, you're just hiding it from me.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
It's a
that's
big game.
absolutely when you just like when somebody kicks it up a climb, you kick it over the climb just to be like, yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are messed up. Has there ever been a time where everything just perfectly came together? It was the perfect training, it was the perfect preparation, it was the perfect day before, race went exactly as I had planned. Anybody had everything, just the cards just all fall into place perfectly?
Yeah.
No, Sam's like, nah. Jack's just like,
I've got such limited experience.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Mine
it's this
was it
weekend.
was a race that you didn't like over at Green Bluff.
Mhm.
I knew I was going well, and it was a 40-50s group, and you know, I even CP rode out with me like the day before, the weekend before, and I said I know exactly where I'm going to attack. I know exactly how I'm going to play this, and everything just came right to order. I had a teammate who was in the 40 plus with this other guy from Walla Walla, an Audi team.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we went over the top the first climb, and I was with him, and I looked back over the shoulder. And so now there's a reason for this pack with 40s and 50s to work together. And I thought, no, I'd rather have my teammate Travis win the race because I know he's going to beat him in the sprint. So I backed off and let myself get caught and waited for the second time over that hill. And then that's when I pushed it, and it was already, now we're just down to 2 guys. And then I knew at 1 kilometer. Right
You
at
just
1 kilometer,
felt the whole
I
time.
knew the whole time.
Wow.
I did that whole thing in a big ring, and it was a pretty steep climb. And I saw the guy drop down the small ring going up the hill. I thought, you're mine. As soon as you touch your front derailleur, I am gone. I don't care if it's 1.5 kilometers or 2 kilometers. I just need a little gap.
wait,
So
my front derailleur. I'm not shifting.
No,
I'm not
don't.
changing.
That's
I'm not
that's the
changing.
secret.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
use
Don't
that front
touch
derailleur.
that.
And I'll
Not
tell,
towards the end.
Yeah.
and I'll tell you what, to rub it in everybody's face is electronic shifting. There's no skipping when you're in the big ring. So.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
electronic.
That race was
All
a
it takes
shame.
is just that slight delay. That's all you need.
Yep.
You just, in the corner of your eye, you watch. I mean, it's faster than mechanical, but, I mean, he's...
You hear it,
Yeah.
obviously.
Then you're... That was my go. And you have that gap, and you just hold it, and he'll quit.
Yeah, I mean that happened. Like I've never had anything where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to destroy these kids. I've had I've done well. Like one of them, I was in way better form because I spent a month down in California racing, and then I came back up and won a race out at Squim. But like, I've never really had a time where I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are all mine. That next day after I won Squim, I went and raced Mason Lake, and I had nothing to race for because I was already a 1-2. I just hadn't been able to upgrade because it was the same weekend. And so I just strung everyone out and sent them for a ride, and that was a hell of a time. But, like, I don't think that I've ever done anything where I'm like, oh, yeah, it's going to come down to like this and like this and like this. Anything that I've ever won has just been sheer luck or competition against my brother. Like, the only times that I've really done well in races have been against my brother.
Really?
Yeah. He's done really well. Like, he won Sea Otter when he was a Cat 3. I mean, he's done really well. But then, like, once you line us up against each other, it's like...
You just cancel each other out. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just
Yeah.
ruins your day and you ruin his.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Well, I think,
Parents take notes.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Watch those kids.
Yeah,
They're really messed
yeah.
up. I think you have more failures than good. And
Yeah.
mind you, that happened when I was 50 when I said I had something good. So there was many, many, many times I got it wrong.
I just haven't
Many
gotten to
times.
50 yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, just think about it, Sam. When you were my age, I'll probably be dead.
Yeah.
Just to let you know. That's how it works.
All right, here we're about to roll into into our district championships. Sam, I'm not going to make you go to the line on this and answer. Jackson, it's a Masters district championship, so you don't have to necessarily answer. But Paul, what do you want to walk away from this weekend with? What are your objectives? What's your goal?
At least podium. Of course, my goal is always, get a jersey like Scooter had. He had to show off on Sunday.
He did. He showed up with a state champion jersey.
Yeah. That's always the goal, and I'll just fight to the end. But there's some good names there.
Road race and crit?
Yep, whatever it takes. I don't care. I can have that dang thing. Since 1986, I've been dreaming about it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Jackson, you got any major objectives?
Recently I've gotten pretty cocky, and I learned I have to be confident. So, so I'm going to go out there and win it. I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Holy shit! Wow.
What other way for the stars?
Yep.
I'm his father, and I named my podcast Packfiller, which means I'm just expecting average. Holy shit! You got that from your mom, and she's badass. I really don't know what to expect, because I haven't raced a crit in a while, so I'm just curious to see how that all feels.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I'm not, I don't. This isn't a Weight Watchers testimonial, but a year ago I was 30 pounds heavier, so I have no idea how it's going to turn out. No fucking clue. And so I'm just rolling into this, just going, Paul, my son told me that you were talking about my style of racing as opposed to your style of racing, where I'm just kind of more of an improvisational person, and you're like, I got this fucking dialed. And I'm going to make it up as I go along this weekend, I think.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Just go hard.
Yeah.
If you do that,
read the book as it
everything
portrays out. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to lie. I'd love to do something, in all honesty, to help you do it. No, because I know you've been trying a long time.
Yeah, but if I don't feel good, then you
can't. Year after year after year. It's like the sycamore that grows taller and taller, and then just falls on a fucking car.
Damn, it sucks.
And then the sycamore tree dies.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. That brings us to the end of another Packfiller podcast. Let's see what happens. It's going to be fun. Do you guys have any celebrations that you're planning on? And what's a post-race celebration before we find out? Is yours a big St. Bernardus?
Yeah, I have 750 milliliter of that sitting at home.
Right on.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, Jackson? Sam? No?
Just drinks. Whatever it is.
Say it's not that malt liquor shit.
Whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine used to be a big dinner, but I think after a road race, I'm just going to be like, because I'd have to cook it. So usually it's just like, fucking order a pizza.
And I got a treat for you guys. I brought it over. That was what I walked in with.
Uh-oh.
Podium legs.
Oh,
sweet. So as you guys are having your pizza or whatever, right? Just hang out in those things. Yep. Mm-hmm. And that is a massage from tip to tail.
Oh, shit.
Yep. It's awesome.
Wow. Cool. Wow. Okay, geez.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So that'll keep you rested for the crit on Sunday.
Yeah.
So now that I got you under on mic and stuff like that, I've been talking to everybody at the beginning of the podcast about Ambassador and what the fit and the importance of things like that. And you and I had talked about what the team riders are available to get. First of all, what is that, and how should they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so any of the Packfiller team riders, the people who are part of your group and everything, 20% off for all those guys.
Gotcha.
And then any of the listeners come on in and say, "Hey, came from the Packfiller, we'll give you 15."
Sweet.
So I want to take care of everyone, but my whole goal is just to welcome everybody to the sport. Like, I had anywhere from a professional triathlete tonight to a person who's going off to college to race bikes to a person who's just getting into road cycling. So
really,
it's fun to everybody's welcome. I do all sorts of fits, but I just want people to enjoy riding two wheels, more butts on bikes.
Right on. And the professional triathlete did not vomit right near you.
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
AmbassadorCycling.com is the way to find you and get in touch with you, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jackson, fucking, I love that mentality. I'm going to take that mentality. Fuck
Yeah.
you, Paul. You're not winning state championships. I'm going to win.
Good.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah, exactly. We missed one of our new teammates, Scooter, was supposed to be here with us tonight. Hopefully he'll be there. And the guy's stronger than shit, so, I'm not going to win if Scott shows up. Paul, thanks, man.
Yep, thank you.
And everybody, thanks for tuning in. Go out there and race your bikes. You can do it in complete rage and against other people like these three guys, or you can just do it and have a lot of fun like me and then curse them when they're gone because they made you hurt so badly. So I guess that's what we all do, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Keep the rubber side down. Have a good time.